Testing, testing. 1, 2. Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Aaron says yes. All right. Amanda is here. Hi, Miss Amanda. I'm going to make you a co-host just because we want to keep you in the frame. Hi, Aaron. Alicia's here. Amy's here. Everyone's rolling up. Hi, Anna. Aaron, you make me want a banana right now. Stop it.
I just finished my Lyft, Coach. It tastes like the best banana I've ever had.
It's so good. I love bananas. They're like nature's candy. So amazing. I love it. Amanda, you look so professional right now. Like you're at your, like, we're going to have a conference.
Yeah. Well, I'm in my remote work office.
Okay. Is this at home? Okay. Yeah. I love it. All right. Everyone's chiming in. We'll get started here in a couple minutes. What's everyone doing for Mother's Day? Anything fun?
Having the parents over.
Parents over. Yeah, we're gonna do brunch. Apparently, I said it's like when it's at my house, it's not relaxing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. Yeah.
But my daughter's like, Mom, you're not gonna work. I'm just gonna take care of everything. So we'll see.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I do. I like the cooking and planning just because I do it for my mom. So it makes me feel good. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that too. My sister's bringing over Mexican food, I think. She's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know, the usual like brunch, food type things. She's like, I'm bringing Mexican. I'm like, all right. I am not going to say no to that.
You can eat that breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We ordered Mother's Day brunch from the restaurant Squeeze.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that place. I've heard it's pretty tasty.
So
Squeeze in, I think it is, right? Yeah.
I've never been there. I heard it's good though.
Yeah,
I keep hearing that. I'm like, we're gonna do it because I'm not gonna cook my own Mother's Day brunch, and that's not happening.
That's where I'm at with it too. Yeah. All right. Let me clear off my camera here. Okay, I'm just gonna mute everybody real quick. Mariana says there's probably girls in the other room. All right. I'm just gonna mute everybody real quick here. Okay, so if you're on a laptop, if you go to the corner, the right-hand corner, there's like a little Rubik's Cube looking thing. If you click on that, you'll be able to see all the other beautiful goddesses here in the room with us for this chat, Coffee with Coach, and we have our guest on today. But before we get started, I always like to start off the coffee chat with our mission. And the quarantine team is something that we came up with, obviously, when quarantine hit, and everybody who's been all about it, like sticking through it, the ups and downs. And our mission is to continue to do the damn thing with our health and fitness, even though shit's hard right now, because we know it's a little lifey. We do not fold, quit, or give up, and we consider obstacles the way to strength and growth. As a team, we will get through this together and not give up on each other because we're the no matter what club. And if you're in our Facebook group, I would say that is true, right? Yeah, thumbs up if you agree. I also wanted to shout out some, just for the new girls. I know there are a few of you guys here in the group today on this call, but super high five to you guys for signing up for something totally new. And you're just like, what is this 14-day challenge thing? A lot of you're new to the studio. So like new challenge, new people, new faces, new technology. Some of you haven't worked out in quite some time. So just give yourself like a virtual high five / pat on the back for doing the damn thing in such a weird time right now. Right. So kudos to you guys for joining in and being here with us, because we're all getting our workouts in virtually and doing this, even though we're just like, what's going on in the world, right? So kudos to you guys. We're super proud of you. You guys have been crushing it in your workouts. And before we get into some fat loss Q&As, I wanted to ask a little conversation starter, if you will, because I have one that I selfishly want to share for my curly haired friends out there. But what is your latest obsession right now? So what is like maybe the one thing that you're like geeking out on? Maybe you went down a wormhole and like all of a sudden your Amazon cart got filled with all kinds of things, or you're learning about something. I want to know what you guys are up to. I'll share mine real quick first. After our last conversations with our last coffee chat with Taylor, I went down a wormhole about like taking care of my hair better. And so I've always been a little bit fanatic about my curls and getting the right products and like battling frizz and like dandruff and flakes and like all the things. So I found this girl on Instagram and then went down literally, you guys, for 3 hours on her YouTube. I don't think I've ever done that in my life. I felt like I wasted so much time. Like I was like, oh, I'm wasting time. But I actually learned so much about taking care of my hair. Then it led me to spending a little too much on Amazon on hair care products. But I found like it prompted me because I posted a picture on my Instagram stories. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I brushed my hair out and people were like, is that you? Is that really your hair? I'm like, yeah, that's literally when I brush my hair out, that's what it looks like. So somebody tagged me on this girl's Instagram and then that was the end of it. And I started on this like 3-hour journey of watching YouTube videos about taking care of my hair. So I bought a very expensive brush. I've never spent $35 on a brush in my whole life. So we'll see if it works the magic of detangling this mess. But anything that you found that's like, you're like, oh, I just started getting into this. Anybody? Since quarantine, like no new weird things. Okay, Coach Glitter has a thing. It might not be weird, but let's hear about it.
It is kind of weird for me. Apparently, I'm a landscaper now.
That's right.
We're doing really good, and it already looks awesome. We've done concrete squares in our backyard to build a bigger patio, and we're gonna put artificial lawn in between because I have a pool back there. They're cleaning back there, or else I would show you. But so yeah, we've been doing all the things. It's crazy. Like we dug up the dirt, we made the forms for the concrete, we poured the concrete, we got like sand that we got to put down before the grass. It's crazy.
You guys, was it last weekend we had Good Day Sacramento out?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, I don't know. The days are all running into.
I think so.
So we were at the studio and she had like legit anxiety that she was not home to oversee the landscaping project.
Yes,
Amanda's
so
like,
hard.
I need to go home. I need to know what's going on, like my project, it was pretty funny. So yes, I think you're doing a really good job overseeing the men doing the heavy lifting.
I have to.
Yeah, I love it. That's sweet. And it looks good. It looks good so far. So
yeah, we just need grass and then we're done. So it's crazy. We've really only worked on it for maybe like 7 full days, on the weekends. And I dreamt it and it's happening.
Well, look at that. And you wouldn't have done it if you didn't have all this like extra time now. So.
There's not extra time. I'm just not allowed to leave my house now.
Exactly. It just shifts to a different priority.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any fun new thing you're like obsessed with, watching, using, distracting yourself with? Amy, I see you. Go for it.
So really funny. Growing up, my mom was always like the baker in the house, and I never really participated. I just kind of watched and ate the yummy food. And since quarantine, it's like my mom genes have taken over, and I'm doing all the baking that I've never done in my life, like pies, breads.
I cannot watch your Instagram. It makes me hungry.
I make cinnamon rolls. I've never made those in my life. It was like
Amanda wants cinnamon rolls. You need to connect with her. She wants cinnamon rolls. I have
to make those. I got to have to make those like once a year because you don't even want to know what went in them. Oh my God, but they were so good.
They're so bad, but so good. I found a healthy recipe and I looked at it this morning and I'm like, that looks like a lot of work for very little reward. So
Right?
Amanda doesn't want healthy cinnamon rolls. She wants like this just god awful.
Yeah, it's so much better the yummy way.
For sure, for sure. I know I've been seeing a lot of folks baking, and that's awesome. Testing out their culinary skills. Some people getting better with food prep because they're like, now I have a little more time. So that's super, super awesome to see. People are like tagging me in their recipes and all that. So it's a good thing, I think. Okay, so I'm going to move on. We have a lot to go over today. Stuff that I picked apart and hopefully you learn some things from. I really want these chats to be about obviously connecting, seeing similar faces that you do in classes, and also like little nuggets that you can take away and learn from others in the group as well that maybe have been battling, that you've been battling some things that they've, overcome. So I have a good list of stuff. I know some of you guys submitted some cues for me to A. So one question that was asked in the Q&A submission form was suggestions for weight loss when dealing with middle-age hormonal challenges. Anyone over 40, raise your hand. Let me see by show of hands. We got some 40-year-olds. Yes. Okay. So for those of you that aren't 40, just still listen because it's coming for you. It's coming, and it comes sooner than you think. All right. Trust me. I'm going to be 42. I kept saying I was going to be 41. I think I'm in denial a little bit, but it's fine. Okay. So my suggestions when you are approaching that 40 mark, 40 and over, is hormonal issues with fat loss are a real thing. Our hormones, if they are not in sync, one is off. Anyone deal with PMS, like it's a real thing. That sometimes like for 1 week a month, you kind of turn into a crazy person. Well, hormones are typically the culprit for that. So anyone who is trying to lose body fat and is struggling and they're doing all the things like the exercise, the nutrition things, one piece of advice that I give to all of my nutrition coaching clients, if they're over 40 and we are not seeing progress, is you have to go get your hormones checked. And most primary care physicians who are like your go-to person, not saying that all of them fall in this category, but they aren't going to go deep into a dive of like deeper thyroid tests, deeper hormonal tests that someone in a preventative medicine scope would. So I always hands down refer people to my person. I am not a hormone specialist. I offer suggestions. There's certain supplements that you can take like evening primrose oil, certain things to help battle stress like 5-HTP, mood swings and things like that. But when it comes to hormones, there has to be a synergistic balance of your hormones. And I always go back to a story for myself is about 2 years ago, I was battling just like belly fat that wouldn't go away. I was exhausted. I would sleep 8 to 9 hours, go take my son to school. Actually, this is when he was in 5th grade. So it's been 3-4 years now. So and then come home and I could sleep for another 3 hours. And my thyroid was tested by my primary care. They're like, oh, your thyroid's fine and this is fine and that. And I went to preventative medicine physician. She did a deep dive panel. I mean, literally 13 vials of blood, and found that my thyroid was a mess. I had almost zero testosterone, which as females, we do need a certain amount to keep everything balanced. Progesterone was off. So all these things were off. And she got me on a regimen and everything just started to click. Like my moods improved, my energy, all the things. So very long story to just say, if your hormones aren't in sync, you have to have those things checked. At least every 6 months to make sure that everything is cohesive and balanced, and that if you are on certain medications, they have to be adjusted. Otherwise, you are fighting an endless battle, and a lot of times things won't change. So that is my professional opinion on hormonal things if you feel like weight loss is stalling and you're doing all the things to be productive for fat loss. The next question I got in the submissions, I'm going to actually recruit Coach Glitter to help me on this one, only because She is like the baddest, sexiest BZ I know, no matter what size she is. Okay. So the question was, how do I become confident enough to wear the bathing suit now? I'm going to unmute her in just a second, but my 2 cents on this is being less in your in your head and more in your body. And I know that's a very like ethereal answer, but honestly, really just being in that sense of, am I going to regret this later? And I call it, it's actually not something I coined, but it's called rocking chair regret. And it took me a while to adapt this mindset. I think, at least for me personally, doing a lot of sensual movement and pole dance stuff completely out of my comfort zone and doing that for so long, it came with time. But also asking yourself, when I'm 85 years old, sitting in my rocking chair, what am I going to regret not doing? Am I going to regret the fact that I wasn't able to enjoy myself on the beach in a 2-piece or a bathing suit or laying out? You know, when you get older, you start to look back and go like, that's really not that, you know, that wasn't that big of a deal. I made it a bigger deal than it needed to be. I should have owned that. I should have really enjoyed my body when it was in its 30s, in its 40s and things like that, instead of covering it up and being in this mindset all the time of just like, oh, it's not good enough. I don't look like her, or comparison trap. Honestly, obviously easier said than done. But I think if you could start to really reframe your brain to operate in that premise of like, am I going to have rocking chair regret because I didn't want to get out on the beach with my kids in my 2-piece because I have a little cellulite? Like, that's every woman. Like, I have cellulite. Everyone has cellulite, usually to some degree. So, so that's my 2 cents. But I know Amanda is like probably the most confident person I know. She's the only other person I know that has a screensaver of herself on her phone. So, well, my daughter does too, I think. So, so I'm going to unmute her and let her give you her spiel.
Okay, so let's go back to like the actual question is, how am I going to be comfortable in my body in front of people, or maybe not even in front of people? For me, Diane says you need to get out of your head. Yes, which means I think you need to also live in the moment and not worry about what's going on around you. Also, like, for me, I wasn't always confident. I just pretended. And the longer you pretend, the better you get at it. And then you're just like, boom, there it is. And it just doesn't go away anymore.
Fake it till you make it.
Yes, pretty much, you know, and for me, I've been every size under the sun, like many times. And I know that a lot of women, I want them to realize that you're not always one size, and you never will be the same size. And there's always going to be that one size. Oh, I wish I was that size. Don't do that to yourself. Just be confident that you move your body, and this is my body. It gets me from A to B. And you know, I do want to go out and wear a bathing suit in front of my kids. You know, Dave's got big kids. Okay, so they're almost 18 now, and their boyfriends are coming over, and I'm like, okay, should I wear the mom bathing suit, or should I wear their bathing suit? I don't know. So for me, you kind of have to just really throw that thought, oh, what are those people thinking? If those people are thinking bad things about you, that's on those people. It is not about you, and it's not about your body. It's about them feeling uncomfortable with themselves, or maybe they're just assholes and talk crap about people. Sorry. I was like, is there like a beep, you know, on TV when the beep happens?
Beep. Bleeping it out.
That's kind of just how I feel about it. If people are going to talk about you and your body, that's their problem. It is not your problem. You don't necessarily have to be completely comfortable with it, but I don't want you to let your body hold you back from doing things like Diana said. You know, if you're going to regret it later, like my kids go in the pool all the time. I don't want to not be in there with them making the memories. I don't want them to think, oh, well, my mom's just over there in her pants, in her yoga pants, drinking her margarita, watching us swim. You know, I want to be in there doing the things with them. And I just kind of try and throw caution to the wind. And if I start to think, oh, does my body look bad? I like just get back in the moment and forget about it and just move on with my life. And if you're worried about other people, you guys, that's going to be the one thing that you got to try and get over. Don't let other people's opinions of you change the way you feel about yourself.
Right. And I think too, like, at least, you know, for me personally speaking, it's like anything, right? The more that you do it, the less intimidating and scary that it becomes. So like, you almost have to just like rip that initial Band-Aid, and just do the damn thing. And then just like one time you do it, and then the next time you do it, it's not as scary. And then the next time it's not as scary. I'm going to tell you guys something. Every time I have to do these coffee with coaches, I get nervous for like 5 minutes. But I'm like, okay, I have things to share. Like, some people will benefit from it. So I have to just go and do the damn thing. But like, it's still like nerve wracking, you know, like getting on stage. Like, I've done it 12 times. I have a little butterfly moment and I'm just like, I want to throw up a little. But I'm just like, I just got to do it, you know? And so it starts to lose its like pull on you if you just take that first step and just like mentally start getting past that roadblock.
Yeah. And I mean, even if so, you know, if like, you know, I just, yeah, I'm on the whole pull the Band-Aid kind of thing and do that. But if you're not ready for that, you know, like, go out, wear your bikini at home in your house when nobody's there. Like, have a private party with just your family. Start wearing it there. Once you get more comfortable, then you're like, okay, let's go. We can go to like a pool party or the beach eventually when Corona lets us out of jail, you know? So all those things, you know, just baby steps are also a thing too. But for me, it's rip the Band-Aid, let it happen. And like I said, if you're worried about other people, if they're saying anything about you, it is on them. It is absolutely not on you. Everybody is a bikini body at any time. It does not matter.
You just put a bikini on your body.
Yes, exactly.
Amy, yes, you have a question?
I just wanted to add to that. It's for sometimes it's easier around people you don't know. Like, I put on a bikini for the first time in public ever last summer, and I did it when I was camping with my kids at the lake, and I had no family with me at all. It was just me and the kids. And that actually was easier for me than like being around a bunch of people that I knew.
I agree. It can go both ways, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I think I kind of embody that perspective too, more so specifically, like, you know, granted, like on stage, I have, you know, friends and family who come and support, but I'm like, I don't know these people.
Right.
You know, like I went and competed in Tahoe. I'm like, I know nobody here, so it's fine. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Amanda?
I was there.
You were there. Okay. Next question. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Next question that came through was, what's your favorite cheat snack or your favorite go-to snack that makes you feel like you're cheating? Okay. You guys ready for this? So I'm going to start something called Pimp That Rice Cake. Okay. Whoever saw that show back in the day, Pimp My Car, I don't even know. I don't even think I saw it because I was too busy raising kids. But Pimp My Rice Cake. So I would love to take credit for this, but actually one day, probably like 2 weeks ago, we were at the house and Jake, I looked at him and I said, I really want a cookie. And he's like, okay. And I said, please just make me a cookie. He's like, how am I going to make a cookie? And I'm like, I don't know, just figure it out. 5 minutes later, he brings me a chocolate rice cake. Okay. He put peanut butter on it, a tablespoon of chocolate chips and marshmallows, and put it in the oven and broiled it on low for like 3 minutes. And I've been eating that shit every night since then. So he's like, you're not going to give me credit for that. So I'm giving him credit, but I'm going to make it better. And I'm just going to call it my own because, you know, that's what I'm going to do. But I've literally been pimping my rice cakes every night. I have one. It is like the most decadent, s'more, like delicious treat. Amazing. It's so good. Amanda, you have to try it. So that is my go-to right now. Before that, like random things that I enjoy that are just kind of like low calorie, macro friendly are sugar-free popsicles. So they have like tropical, if you just want like a fruit quick, like cold thing, they're like 10 or 15 calories, sugar-free popsicles. They have like the fudge-sicle ones. That's just super bare bones. The other thing that I'm obsessed with right now, has anybody tried that enlightened ice cream? Oh yeah, Sarah's like me. Yes, so the enlightened ice cream is it's way better than Halo Top, I personally think, and the brownie cookie dough one, be careful. I mean, the whole pint is 400 calories, so like you could definitely do more damage with like a straight up like Ben and Jerry's, but the enlightened is like 100 calories per serving. It's brown. It tastes super, super real, and it's absolutely amazing. Yes, Crystal, rice cake, tablespoon of peanut butter, chocolate chips, top it with marshmallows. You like smush the mini marshmallows in the little crevices, and then you have to watch that sucker in the oven because Jake made it for me 2 nights in a row, and the second night it almost caught on fire because rice cakes are like dry, you know? So, so just keep an eye on it, put it on low on broil for like, I don't even know, 2 to 3 minutes. Just watch it till it gets toasty. It's absolutely heaven. Amanda, do you have any, you're not really a sweet eater, kind of, sort of. Do you have any good, yes, you, do you have any go-tos for treats?
Well, I feel like I'm always go down a rabbit hole and I'm like, okay, well, I like Snickers bars, so how can I get the closest to a Snickers bar with a protein bar instead?
Mm-hmm.
So I find whatever that is. I've also, I don't know if you guys have been on my Instagram, I bought some Lenny and Larry Oreo cookies. I did a video a couple weeks ago. I also ordered the vanilla ones the other day, and I think I like those ones better.
Okay. So Lenny and Larry's, for those of you that are like, what's that? It's they're protein. They make protein cookies and things like that. Protein. I don't think they make bars. They just make cookies. Their cookies are great. They're big, but caution.
Cut them in half. Cut them in half.
Because that cookie is super, super easy to eat, but it is very high in calories. Super, super high. Amanda Clausen, you had your hand up. Tell us.
Yeah, my favorite dessert is ice cream, and so the lowest calorie ice cream that I found was just getting fat-free Cool Whip and putting it in the freezer. And I put that between, I don't know if you've heard of like Wassa crackers, so they're very light. So I'll do that to make like an ice cream sandwich with Hershey's sugar-free syrup, and then maybe a little dusting of PB2, and it's my ice cream sandwich. It's amazing. I love it.
That sounds actually really good. Wassa crackers are just like, they're like this big. They're they're interesting. they're
ones, yeah, not the ones that are like hard as cardboard. Yeah, it's the light ones. Yeah.
Yes, that actually sounds really, really good. Ice cream sandwich status. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna move on unless anyone else has a fun snack they want to share. Oh, Sarah, yes, go for it.
Okay, I just want to share with you guys this protein. I copied Amanda, but I just got the Oreo instead of her cereal, whatever.
Uh-huh.
This tastes just like the Oreo shakes at Jack in the Box. And that's my thing at night. Like in the middle of the night, I get the munchies and I need an Oreo shake. This tastes exactly like it, guys. Like,
so what brand is that?
ISO 100. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
I was looking at Amanda's, what was it, Fruity Pebbles?
Yes.
So it's the same brand except they have the Oreo one.
Where did you get it?
I just Googled it.
Amazon?
I think Amazon. I get everything on Amazon. Yeah, I did get it on
Amanda
Amazon.
says the brand is
Amazon.
Dymatize. And Dymatize is a good brand. I would recommend that. I've definitely had it. It's probably an whey isolate, so that's a good brand for protein for sure. Delicious.
Anyway, it really does taste exactly like Jack in the Box.
Yeah, the other fun treat that I have that, like, I don't know any human that doesn't like cereal. I don't know. If you don't like cereal, you probably are a cereal killer. Haha, you like that terrible dad joke. But I love cereal, so I will usually like portion out cereal, and if I have macros left, I will shake up some protein powder with almond milk and then make myself some protein cereal. Alexis says Kirkland protein bars are a great sub for sweet tooth, peanut butter, chocolate, chocolate chip cookie, and fudge brownie. Yes, that sounds amazing. So even just finding like a really great protein bar that that doesn't taste like dirt is always a nice little treat at the end of the day, or if you have a sweet tooth. Okay. Next question, I won't go too long on because I really want to get to dive into some questions for Amanda. But one other question I got is it okay to eat 3 meals a day instead of 6 smaller meals? And how would this affect your progress? So the 6 small meals thing is a total bro science myth, like bodybuilders back in the day made the general public think they had to have 6 meals a day. It's based on the premise that you are going to be catabolic, meaning like losing muscle, if you aren't eating every 2.5 to 3 hours. Love my boyfriend. He still adheres to that theory. He looks great. He's a pro. That's all great and fine. But for us mere mortals, you don't have to eat 6 small meals a day. And like, who has the time to do that? When I'm like in the very last stages of prep, I typically will, more for digestion purposes. Like, I don't want to bomb my stomach with a bunch of veggies because I usually eat a lot in terms of volume. But as far as your progress, it's not true. Muscle glycogen is present in your muscles for at least 72 hours after you have a meal. So that's just kind of a big, hairy, scary myth that they put out there. I always tell clients when I work with them on nutrition, eat according to a couple things. It's called, the acronym for it is HEC. So like, is your HEC in check? And you're like, what? HEC stands for hunger, energy, and cravings. So you know yourself, you know your body, you know your dips in like your energy throughout the day, when you start to get hangry, all those things. For me personally, I've settled into about 4 meals. And what that looks like is I'll have a big breakfast that's protein filled with some sort of carbohydrate, typically is oatmeal or a couple pieces of Ezekiel toast. And then I have BAS in the middle of the day, which is a big ass shake. And this is something I've been doing more consistently since the 14-day challenge, but I'll have a big ass shake and I use that as 1 meal. So depending on what you put in your shake is going to tell you whether or not it's a kind of like a meal replacement, or if it's just a shake to add in and kind of have as a snack. But my big ass shakes are generally about 450-ish calories because I'm putting protein, almond milk, chia seeds, fruit, a bunch of things in there. And that keeps me full, you guys, for almost 3 hours. Like 3 hours comes and I'm like, man, I'm still not hungry. So not that I'm trying to abolish my appetite by any means, but I'm generally like not hungry because of all the fiber and all the good stuff that's in that shake. And then I will typically have a BAS for dinner, a big ass stir fry. So, more veggies, my proteins in there. Sometimes I'll throw like a half a cup of rice or whatever, and I just make like a big, huge stir fry. That's kind of my kick right now. And then my 4th thing is my dessert. So 4 meals works for me. It may not work for you depending on your schedule, but 6 meals is totally myth. You don't have to do that. But just trying to get all of your food in throughout the day and not cheating yourself out of getting in your protein is key for sure. So that's my 2 cents on that. Any questions on like meal timing or any of that fun stuff, getting in protein? I know a lot of us still struggle with getting in protein. No? Crystal's like, yeah. All right. Well, my coffee is definitely hit. As you can tell, I'm talking 100 miles an hour. So I'm going to introduce our guest for this last half of Coffee with Coach. So she's already had a couple little tidbits to offer, but Miss Amanda Clausen, she's been with us at Venus since 2015. Notably, she's lost 100 pounds as of recently. She hit her 100-pound weight loss goal, which I don't know that was a goal, but it was just a huge milestone we wanted to celebrate. She's currently working with me right now. We've been working together more closely this year on her nutrition and dialing in her workout programs because she's on my competition team. So she is on track to compete in her first bodybuilding show this year in the figure division. She is a mom, she's a wife, she's a full-time busy badass. So I'm going to unmute Miss Amanda, and thank you for coming on today to chat with us. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I have so many questions, selfishly so, but those of you that are interested, if you have any questions, use the little chat box, pop them in there, or I will unmute you if you want to ask her specifically. But my first question is, I would love to hear about what kind of like diets or fad things do you remember like trying since you've been on this like journey? What things have you ever attempted for fat loss?
I was never one for all the fads, the Atkins or cauliflower only or cabbage soup, all that bullshit. I have tried of recently the ketogenic diet, which I don't classify as a fat diet because it's been around since like the 1920s and has helped people who are suffering with like emotional or mental disabilities, things like that. And so I use that along with intermittent fasting, and I found that to be incredible success doing those two things together. So I think I dropped 15 pounds in 3 months when I was on the ketogenic diet. It is a huge shift. It's opposite of anything I've ever known. It's high fat and low with carbs. And it's opposite of what I'm doing now. And so it was a huge, it was stressful, and it was like, am I going to gain with this? But no, not at all. Both my husband and I found major success with that.
Right.
But
I think people assume like I'm eating fat, so I'm going to get fat. But
yeah.
I would like to interject before people go on a keto tangent of thinking that is that you still had to be in a caloric deficit. So I think one thing that is very misconstrued when people are like, oh, I am doing this diet or that diet or paleo or keto, is that I'm going to just eat all the fat and like this is going to work. You still had to maintain a caloric deficit. Even in keto, you still had to like track your macros and count your fats and make sure all those things were happening. Because if you were eating too much fat, you still would have had no progress. So just that's a little asterisk for that.
Oh yeah, everything was tracked and measured and weighed, and yeah, even on the ketogenic diet. Early on, I remember growing up, my mom used to sell Herbalife. And so I was on that. I think that's what stands out the most because they were awful. I don't know how they are now, but taking pills in literally 5th grade, 6th grade, these pills to try to lose weight, it was kind of traumatizing a bit. They had shakes and all that stuff back then, and I just was doing it to see what would help, but I didn't have a change in diet or exercise, and so that didn't work out for me.
Yeah. Transitioning to kind of along the same lines, but what, obviously because there was a shift in your nutrition, so what habits did like the old Amanda have like prior to that, like you would say contributed to where you were with like being overweight and needing to, get back to being healthy? What were your old habits dietary wise?
Fast food.
Compared to now.
Fast food and soda. I remember getting off at school, we would go, and this would be in high school, and that's where I was 200 pounds at senior in high school. And we would go have fast food after school. And then like 2 hours later, I'd go home and eat dinner. Wasn't hungry, I just ate to eat. I am a binge eater. I still am if I don't watch it. It's an eating disorder. It truly is. And it's emotional. And I think that certainly didn't help. So the bad habits is the binge eating, the fast food, the soda, not tracking anything, not being physically active. Those are the major ones.
Yeah. And I can definitely relate to, I think most of us at some point can relate to emotional eating, right? Like whether it's PMS or sometimes it goes the other way. I think sometimes I know, at least for me personally, it depends on the type of stress. So certain type of stress will want me to eat, and then other types of stress will have me like have no appetite. So it could go both ways, but definitely I think just working with women for, for so long, noticing like stress is a huge trigger, or emotional eating, and keeps, just kind of keeps you in like a spiral of just being stuck with getting results, for sure.
Yeah.
So what are your new food habits? Like, what does your new food habits look like that you would say are super consistent for you? I know we're working with obviously competition prep and like macros and things like that, but what are your like typical go-tos now?
Go-tos. Cauliflower rice, I think right now, because I can eat a whole bag of it and feel so satisfied. And mix it with chicken or fish or whatever it is, eggs. I mean, it's so universal. And there's a lot, and the cauliflower mashed potatoes that have bacon in them now are amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have yet to try those. That sounds amazing.
Really good. So new habits is just finding healthier alternatives for my favorites, like peanut butter. That would be part of my last meal. It would just be like a jar of peanut butter. And so an alternative would be the PB2, or something more natural, in moderation, of course. But yeah, just like I mentioned, the Cool Whip in replace of the ice cream, and coming up with clever little mocktails instead of having alcohol. So last night I don't normally drink soda, but if I want one, it's like a Coke Zero with like a squeeze of lime, so it feels like a rum and Coke, but no rum. And so, it's just getting creative. One tip I always use is Pinterest. I'm obsessed. I mean, talk about going down a rabbit hole for 3 hours. I'd be on 3 hours of Pinterest, looking up ideas of recipes or substitutes, things that you can substitute, like baking. I made sugar-free cupcakes with applesauce instead of oil, and they're pretty good. They're very light, and so just getting creative and thinking outside the box. And you might find things that you really like in replace of what you used to eat or drink.
Yeah, I think that's a huge piece of it. I know for me personally is, I didn't come from like a family, like my mom she just did a lot of like packaged stuff, like Hamburger Helper was a go-to, and, whatever she could throw together. She worked at Banquet Food, so we had a lot of TV dinners, and so I wasn't really taught. And I think a lot of times, we hear like, oh, it's, I'm this way because of genetics. And while like our body predispositions are made up because of genetics, like the length of my bones and, our bone structure and things like that, it really goes back to how we were raised and how we ate as we grew up. We tend to just continue to eat that way as adults, unless we have some sort of shift and we have to do things differently and create new things. And I know that was a huge struggle for me, especially when I was ready to like drop body fat and like try to compete, and I had to cook for myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? It doesn't come in a package, like I remember staring at vegetables and being like, I don't know what to do with this stuff, and I just had to just do it. I just had to throw it together. Half the time it tasted like garbage. And then eventually, like, I got on a roll with things, and same thing, just researching Pinterest like crazy and just saying there's got to be something to this, because I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, for a very long time, I thought exercise was just going to be the only thing, and I was going to have like that banging body, I would buy exercise magazines and tapes and DVDs and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do Tammy Lee Webb's Buns of Steel, and I'm going to have like a great ass. And then like nothing would really change. And I just ignored my nutrition completely. And it wasn't until I finally was like, food has got to be the secret. and then when I changed my eating habits, like everything, that was it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When do you feel like it finally clicked for you? Like, I think, I hear a lot of women, they get to a spot and they're like struggling, like nothing's changing. They're still doing it. Or maybe they like have a really bad day and then they're just like, screw it, it's not working anyways. When do you feel like you're like, okay, stuff's changing finally?
Yeah. I've had two points in my life where that's happened. And it was early on. I was 21. It's when I dropped my first 80 pounds. I was 21. I was feeling like crap, and just physically, emotionally, mentally, went to the doctor. The doctor told me, you're 21 years old and you're morbidly obese and you have high blood pressure. So here's a prescription for blood pressure meds, and you're going to take your blood pressure readings every day. And I remember being in my grandparents' house, and my grandpa and I are taking our own blood pressures together. And I said, I can't do this. I'm 21 years old. This is not okay. And what does this say about my future? You know, what does my future look like? So that was a turning point for me early on. And one morning I just woke up, I'm going to the gym. And I started slowly cardio. I was scared shitless of the weight room, you know, and the judging eyes of all the guys and things. So I started with cardio, and it was painful, but on my own, just moderate exercise and a change in diet, I lost 50 pounds. Then got a personal trainer who introduced me to weights, and I found a new passion. I found that I'm strong. Like, I have the ability to be very strong, and I love it. So started weight training, and I dropped another 40. So that kind of started it off. And then I cycled back. You know, I started dating, met my husband, did all the things I didn't do in my early 20s, like the drinking and the eating out and wine, and then gained back, had a baby, gained back 60 pounds of what I lost. And it wasn't until after I had my son that, you know, I couldn't really enjoy him as a new baby or my pregnancy, because all I could think about was I gained all this weight back and I failed myself. I said I wasn't going to go back to that. And I was embarrassed, and I just couldn't enjoy those first few months after having a baby. And so I said, you know, I need to change this again. I need to get back to where I was. So I started back at Venus, and slowly, you know, getting into the group classes and all of those 12 or 6-week challenges and doing personal training with you and the other coaches. I found results again. I found my happiness. I found that spark, that thing that made me ambitious again for something, you know, and that I wasn't destined to be 200 pounds or 230 pounds my whole life. And I remember my first day back at Venus. After that, all I could do, I don't know if you all, some have taken class with me. I'm always in the front of the class just because I like to, it's a focus thing, you know, no distraction. I'm just focused on what's in front of me, which is the wall, and then myself. All I could see was your trophies, your competition.
I never forget that.
On the mantle, and it's in my head. It's plugged in my head is, wow, I want a trophy. Like, you know, I've never had a trophy in my life unless it was like a participation trophy, you know, for something.
Yeah.
But I was intrigued, and I wanted to learn more. And because of the results I was seeing through the classes that I was taking that you all had, you know, I was like, I could do this. I could do that. Why not? You know, and I got to prove it to myself. You know, no one else is pushing me. I got to push myself. So like, I want that trophy.
Yeah. I like super have the chills right now. And I had like a total, I don't know if any, for those of you that have kids and they like participate in like sports or things like that, like anytime my daughter got up for cheerleading, because she was a competitive cheerleader for a very long time and did dance her whole life. Every time I had to walk away and be by myself because I'm bawling my face off, right? Like, I'm just so bad. I'm such a mush ball. So like my daughter's up there doing her cheer thing, and I'm just like, oh, like crying and videoing, and it's so embarrassing. But the reason why I say that is because when we went and picked out suits, so for my competition team, we go together as a team, and the girls try on their suits, and it's an experience. And as a coach, it's very rewarding for me to see these women who have traveled through this journey with me. And they're just like, some of them are freaked out. Some of them are excited, like all this emotion. I know Erin was there too. Amanda was there. And so it's just like, I'm trying to be all over. I'm like the stage mom. And then like, I just look and I see Amanda and, you know, she's like trying it and I'm just like super, super proud of her. And then she got emotional about like this whole experience and I'm like trying not to cry. So I just want to like commend you for all of your hard work for everything. And like, I super had a mom, like a total mom moment. And it was very rewarding for me. You know, cause like, this is what I live for, people to have change and see that they are stronger than what they think they are, right? Like we have this fixed mindset of like, I can't do this or I can't do that. It doesn't have to be competing. It can be losing their first 10 pounds or finally doing a squat or like whatever. And like to be able to witness that is just super rewarding for me. So, that was an awesome moment.
Yeah. First bikini, by the way, talk about not wearing bikinis out is, my figure suit would be my first bikini ever.
Isn't that nuts? That is so crazy. I'm so excited. And it's so blinged out and it's going to be amazing.
I know. My husband said, "Are you going to wear that to the beach and all of that?" I'm like, I don't think so.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, heck no. Yeah. You know how much this thing cost?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's, but it's super fun experience. And I'm loving every minute of your journey. I know every time you check in, you know, with competition coaching and nutrition coaching, my clients check in every 2 weeks, unless they're close to a show, they check in every week. And I see Amanda's come in and I'm like, ooh, what'd she do this week? You know, what'd she do with her body? Like it's always changing. So it's very exciting.
Thank you.
One thing I want to get to as well is, I think, you know, being where you're at now and like where you started from, what would you tell the before Amanda? Now that you know what you know, like what advice would you give to your old self, or like your best friend who maybe, or like somebody in this group who may be struggling with the same things that you struggled with? Like what good pieces of advice would you tell them?
I think I would say, stop trying so hard and find your natural rhythm. Stop trying to be on somebody else's level, you know. But at the same time, I would say find your competitive streak, because I think that would drive me too.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm competitive. I don't try to let people know that, you know, but internally I'm like, I'm trying to be stronger than you. I'm trying to lift harder than you, you know, but that's just how it gets me going.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hang on that. I'm enjoying this journey. I'm enjoying the ride now to stage. And I've found that natural rhythm. I like tracking. It keeps me on point, tracking macros.
Mm-hmm.
I like having somebody, all of you girls, you know, we're checking in with one another. We're posting our foods and all of that. I like the accountability. So it's finding your natural rhythm and enjoying the journey, and don't stress out too hard, you know, if you're not seeing instant results, because there are no instant results. You're constantly having to change yourself and tweak things, you know, so you can see results and see what you enjoy, what your passions are. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really know like the competitiveness about you at all until so we had posing practice at the studio. God, it feels like forever ago. And I had my video guy out there, and he was videotaping us, and he was like, you like don't even really know he's there, but he catches all this really cool shit. And if you go onto my Instagram and you go deep in the creep and you scroll down, there is a video snippet of that video. And if you see Amanda's face, I caught it and I'm like, that face right there is a competitive face. You just have to watch it and you'll see what I mean. But just like the fire in your eyes, you were just like, I want this. It was like a very hungry, like, I'm all about this. And I am right now in the moment. It was super cool to watch. But yeah, I get that. I get super zoned into like in the moment. And it's funny because I've never played competitive sports ever my whole life. And so competition, I don't even know how to like act, if that makes sense. Like, I want you to win too. Like, I like you. You look great. Like, I'm backstage and I'm like, oh, she's got a good body. Like, she's probably going to win, you know, like I'm back there and I'm trying to be like the cheerleader for everybody. And like, some of these girls are looking at me like, don't look at me, but yeah, you have to get competitive with yourself. So I know for me personally, like when I'm training or, doing whatever it is I'm doing, it's always like, I'm literally telling myself, come on, Diane, come on. Like I'm having a conversation with myself most of the time.
Yeah. I cuss myself out. I cuss myself out of the gym. Like, God, just, you can do 45, you can do whatever it is. Just keep going. Nobody's around you telling you to stop, other than your own head. So,
yeah. I say some pretty mean shit to myself, but like in the like, because I don't have, I don't have a coach training me that's like, come on, you've got 5 more or whatever, I'm always like, don't be a little bitch. Like, like that's how I talk to myself. But sometimes I would say that to my clients.
Yeah. Sometimes my better workouts are when I'm by myself. I have my music in my ears and I'm just grinding and there's no distractions, because sometimes I feel like I'm letting the coaches down, if I'm not lifting a certain amount or, so many reps, so sometimes my best workouts is when I'm by myself.
Yeah, for sure. One last little thing here, and then I'll open it up for anybody who wants to pick Amanda's brain, but we touched on it a little bit, but like, honestly, like how important accountability is, I think for all of us, like accountability to your success. I think, at least speaking for myself, I know a lot of you guys already work with me anyways, but I even have a coach. I've coached myself for 2 shows and they were, my least best placings in my bodybuilding career, not because I didn't know what I was doing, because I didn't have anybody to say like, girl, go do some more cardio. Girl, your macros are off. Quit eating that snack. Quit doing that. Quit eating all these artificial sweeteners. Like I didn't have somebody. And so I don't want to say I took my foot off the gas pedal, but it wasn't really that pressure to be like, coach is watching, and it's really hard to go at it alone. So, would you say that having a sense of like a place to be or show up for something or, someone looking at your macros makes a difference versus if you were just floating out into the ethers?
Oh yeah, for sure. Before I take a sip of wine or I eat something I shouldn't, I think I have to check in with Diane in 3 days. Like, what am I doing? I don't want to wake up and be like 0.5, over my own goal that week. And so it puts a stop to that behavior. Not in a bad way. It's like, all right, you're focused, and why are you putting all this time, money, energy into this if you're not gonna, stick with it, if you're gonna cheat every time, and think, oh, this is not gonna, it's just one day, no, it's not one day, because, and that's that cycle, it's all the time if you don't watch it. So you just got to stay focused. But yeah, I like structure. I like consistency, and I love the tracking. I like, and I know not everybody's that way, but it works for me, tracking in my fitness pal, tracking even your exercise, using your phone. It takes the thinking out of it for me. Now I'm in that rhythm of tracking. It's easy, because it's my same recipes that are in there. It's the same measurements over and over. I'm not having to really think about it. And so it's nice having someone there to do some of the thinking for me, whether it's a phone app or a personal trainer or a coach. It takes that stress off of me, so that I can focus on other things.
Yes. And I'm going to unmute Glitter because she actually has a really good point to that, where tracking gives you a sense of freedom, which is actually a mindset shift, right? Because a lot of people are like, tracking, it's so restrictive, like you can't do this, you can't do that. However, if you flip that mindset, it gives you a sense of freedom because you're like, oh, I can have this, I can do that. So tell me more what you mean by that.
So basically the way I go about it is, so I'm not prepping for a show as tightly as Amanda is. I'm just tracking. I've got I had a vacation planned, so I don't know if that's still happening, but I'm also sweating for the wedding in December. So I've been tracking for a little bit with Diane, if you guys don't know. And with macros, it's given me to eat that it's given me so much more freedom because I can have some of those naughty things and I don't feel like, oh, I can't have that. Because when I did this a long time ago, I lost a lot of weight as well. It came to be kind of it was completely restrictive and it was unhealthy to the point where I was like, well, don't ask me to do that. You know, I can't have that kind of food. And it kind of made me lonely a little bit because you can't feel like you can like be part of the group, or if they're having pizza, I can't have pizza. So I can't go to this thing or whatever it might be. So for me with macros, I do get a little fancy sometimes. Diane knows very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I try and keep at least 3 of my meals, 2 to 3 of my meals super healthy with the protein, the carbs, and the vegetables. And then I always allow myself that one little dessert, kind of whatever it might be. So mine right now, I'm on a cereal kick. And I'm even keeping my cereal fairly like macro friendly. It's Rice Krispies, almond milk with a scoop of protein, and I'm satisfied and I sleep like a little baby for the whole night because my belly is full and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It gives you a sense of like normalcy. So, you know, my dad had a birthday party and we wanted to, you know, they had pizza or whatever, and I haven't had pizza, or, you know, you have some things going on like Mother's Day or whatever, and you want to stay on track with your goals. I will map my day around whatever it is that I want to have so that I don't feel like I'm missing out. And that's what I enjoy. And I will do that all the way through prep up until the last, you know, few weeks, where I'm cutting out more of like the packaged processed things and I get super like in the zone. But like for everyday fat loss, like that should be something that you can look forward to and be able to enjoy. Otherwise, it's not going to be sustainable as far as a diet goes, and you won't be able to stick to it because you're just like, oh, I can't have that. I can't have that. So.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me, I've been putting this in my check-ins. I haven't binged in months, you guys. And honestly, that is a huge factor as to why I yo-yo diet or yo-yo with my weight so bad, is because I would go super hard and then I would just binge. And it is kind of a mental disability, you know, you can't, it's hard to stop. It's like out of body. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? So I really love the fact that macros gives me the freedom to where I don't feel like I have to binge at all, because I'm getting the somewhat naughty foods that taste good and keep me satisfied.
Awesome. Love it. All right, you guys, any last minute questions for anyone, actually? Any of the girls that you want to toss in there? No? Hi, Leah. I'm going to plug in next week's Coffee with Coach. It's actually at 11. It had 10:45 on MindBody, but apparently Zoom doesn't do things in 15-minute increments. So it's at 11 next week. I'll have topics to come as far as what we'll be chatting about, but I'm always open to suggestions, ideas, or future guest speakers. Alexis says, I have a question about hormones. Would you recommend having hormones checked despite age? Honestly, if you find that you're struggling with fat loss and you have been trying wholeheartedly, I would always tell my clients, like, give yourself a good run of tracking before you just throw in the towel and think it might be something hormonal, metabolic. A good run of tracking is a 4 to 6 week stint of tracking your macros religiously and not like, throwing caution to the wind and just being like, oh, 3 days doesn't matter or whatever. One big thing I really have been talking with my clients a lot about in check-ins, specifically the last couple weeks, is all BLTs matter. Bites, licks, tastes, all those things, sauces, all the stuff that you're like making your food with, the oils that you're cooking your chicken in and things like that. All of those things we tend to kind of forget about, or we're just like, oh yeah, I made my chicken, broccoli, and rice, but like I doused it in, I was cooking it in olive oil, or I put a ton of, ranch on it or whatever. Those things all matter. And so when you can get super granular about your tracking, it's going to feel crazy making or OCD-ish for a hot minute. But if you are really trying to get on track with your results and do that for 4 to 6 weeks, and like you're staying within, something, maybe you find an online tracker if you're not working with me, but if you find something, Precision Nutrition has a decent one to give you at least somewhere to start with. And if you're not seeing anything move, then yeah, it's probably time to go in and have your thyroid checked, your testosterone, your progesterone, like you're just a full gamut of hormonal panels just to see if there's something that's amiss there for sure. Does MyFitnessPal does not have lick as an option? No, it does not. But if you follow me on MyFitnessPal, there is no secret to fat loss. People are just like, do you have that secret magical this or that? And I'm like, yo, there's no secret. It is consistency. It is time. It is patience. It is not giving up when you have a bad day. It's like you just keep doing the damn thing. And honestly, not getting so far down the rabbit hole of like where you need to be or the thing where you should be and all that. Just what can you control today? What can you control today? You have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring. Just focus on today. But if you want to follow me on whatchamacallit, Venus Pole Fitness is my MyFitnessPal. My whole diary's on there. Even when I eat stupid stuff, it's in there. Like I don't hide anything. I'm totally normal and human. So it's in there. Go friend me. You can see, what I'm eating. But yeah, like Coach Glitter says, little things every day will add up over time, and just being consistent with all the things, but also knowing to be honest with yourself. And if you are sneaking foods, or like I was classic for this at a period of time when I was binge eating, and I don't know if the Amandas can relate to this, where I was tracking, but then I'd be like in the pantry eating a bunch of random shit, or like I'd be knuckle deep in like my peanut butter jar, like me and peanut butter, we have like this tumultuous relationship, like I have to go on like periods of time where I just cannot have it in the house. Like even counting macros and like knowing I can have a little bit every day. There are certain foods that for me are trigger foods. And if I have them, I don't want to stop eating them. And for me, people are like, but peanut butter is healthy. And I'm like, yeah, but not a whole jar, So I just know there's certain foods I can't have in the house. And then there's periods of times where I'm like, I'm fine. Like we have 3 jars of peanut butter at home right now. And I'm like, I'm on a PB2 kick, and that's fine by me. I'm fine with it. So it's just knowing yourself, knowing your habits. It's honestly, it's just breaking old habits. It's really challenging.
Yeah.
So yeah. But y'all are beautiful, just staring and looking at us, questions. That was really fun. I feel like we got some juicy nuggets today. I appreciate you guys hanging out for this whole time, spending an hour and a little over an hour with us chatting all the things. But if you have any suggestions, or there's anybody that you would love for me to bring on in some kind of field topic or whatever, feel free to hit me up, let me know. I love chatting with real women who have achieved certain things, because I feel like it's relatable, right? Like I don't mind talking about my journey, but that gets old. Like I hate, I would rather you learn from other people who have done great things and have their 2 cents to offer to the discussion. So with that being said, I will let you guys get back to your Saturday landscaping, doing all the things, whatever it is that you may be up to in the world. And hopefully I'll see you next week and we'll do it on Sunday. Thank you, Amanda's, for chiming in.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, you guys, I didn't get my 10,000 steps until 11 last night. So if you want to watch me do some burpees live, go on over to the quarantine group. I'm going to go do it here in a minute.
Oh, I'll be there.
Just saying.
I was like panicking because I didn't think I've only got 3,500 steps in for the day, y'all. I better
Right now?
Yeah.
I got 36.
I took the dogs for a walk and yeah, it was hot and I didn't do my treadmill walking. Stephanie's already almost got 7,000. I better get to work.
That girl, she likes to get her steps done early.
I don't blame her. Leah, I think Leah disappeared, but she was asking if there's going to be a replay. Yes, I'm going to, oh, there she is. She moved on my screen. It's being recorded, so I'm going to upload it and then I will have the replay because there's some good juicy nuggets here today. So, all right, you guys, I like you a great deal and I will see you in the Zoom room. Bye.
Happy Mother's Day.
Same to you.